Just wanted to give a quick update, let everyone know where we're at. Broke, rear wheel tubs rotten, shock, upper shock mounts just flop around every time you hit a bump. They bang. This one's great. Y'all love this one. So we're walking across the yard here to the mule. Oh God, wait till you see the mule. Oh, excuse me. The Dr. Pepper ain't playing nice, I'm telling you. Broke. I mean, broke. Like, I'm not sure if I'm keeping the truck. Broke. That's some pretty major structural shit right there. That's borderline replace the frame. That's a whole lot of shit involved with replacing the frame. I'm telling you. Alright, so we're gonna take a little stroll here over to Mechanized Meadows. We'll finish this little update. I'm playing around with the name. I mean, obviously Rusty Acres is taken by a fine fella that a guy don't want to, infringe upon. But it is a cool name. And they do have 3.5 acres. This is not mine. I was actually born in this house, but it does not belong to me anymore. It's not in the family. But, so from center of this driveway, this way, this is all mine. And nobody, I don't think on the channel has ever seen it from this angle. But it's here. It's this. I'm still not over that. Oh, and by the way, the insurance company said I get nothing. Not a single thing. Claimed after the policy had been on, like I said, the whole property. So from, oh wow. Let me give you a good idea here of the size of the property. So from top of that field over so that field all the way over, there's a tree line, and you can't see it, believe it or not, through the trees. That's about 500 yards down that way. That's that edge. The property goes all the way to that ridge. So originally when my grandparents bought it, it went from that ridge to that ridge. So from this line in the grass, from there back, belongs to my cousins, my uncle's 2 daughters and their kids. That's theirs. So mine, take a little walk here, which I'm trying to bring back. It was left neglected for a little bit because it just wasn't feasible to do it. But so my property starts on this corner. See tree line and tree line. Starts on this corner, goes up that tree line and up this tree line, hits the field, goes this way to where I showed you in the middle of the driveway, and then down to the road, and then runs that way, all the way to the fence line, that line, all the way to the fence line. Roughly 3.5 acres. Now, do I ever have time to get back here and do anything? No. I come back here one day a week. I get here, I get on a mower, and I cut fucking grass the entire time I'm here. Just cut grass the entire time I'm here. And then I leave. But getting back to what we were talking about. So, Escape broke. Pack Mule broke. The go-kart, aka the Exit Ramp Warrior, miss this fucking car so bad. I love this car so much. I mean, even above and beyond the sentimental value, this right here is probably one of the most fun cars I own for miles per hour. Absolutely. It's a 16-valve, 2-liter Beta 2 Hyundai that's been bored and stroked. The head's been planed. The door's a little fucked up. Let me open it. Anyway. I took the battery out of it. It's actually in the backseat of the Subaru because I don't know if you noticed or not, but I let the gentleman that owns this house now, I give him leadway in the driveway as he gives me leadway in this driveway. So on this corner, that's blocking the road. If you look down at the other corner, Old Grumpy's blocking the road. You can't drive up to this building. And we're gonna come back to that. But this, so this is a 16 valve, 2-liter Beta 2 that has been bored, stroked. It's had 20 thousandths taken off the deck and 8 thousandths taken off the head. And it displaces about 2.18, something like that, just under 2.2 liters. And oh, is it fast for what it is. For what it is, it's probably about 220 horsepower at most. It's naturally aspirated. It's got I forget what brand they are. It's got 500 CFM fuel injectors in it. It's got a 50 millimeter throttle body on it. Got all that shit from Shark Racing. I absolutely love Shark Racing. I got a bunch of stuff for the car from Shark Racing. The KDM clear corner headlights. Where am I at here? Yeah. See, these are orange in every other XD that you see. I got those from Shark Racing. Those are shipped from Korea. The head, my uncle actually brought back from Korea in a suitcase. Got this from Shark. It's probably going to be inverted because selfie mode on the camera. But yeah, absolutely love this car. And you know, as always, we always give it up for Driveline. And yeah, even above and beyond the fact that this was Mandy's car, that this was the last car that she ever owned, and her sticker's getting fucked up and I'm gonna have to get it recut. I mean, it happens. I had that made right after she died. She died 5 years ago. So at some point in time, it's gonna wear out. That's why, you know, they sell rolls of vinyl every day. I actually want to do it differently anyway. I want to take that off. And I want to wrap the car green. And I want to have the ribbon as a negative right here. And have the actual blue paint. Because the car actually has really, really great paint. It's just filthy. So we'll paint it at some point. We'll wash it at some point in time. So you can see. Because other than the ugliness, which is fitting, it's poetic. I haven't fixed it because the owner of it died from complications from cancer. She died from pneumonia. She suffered from colon and liver cancer, which destroyed her body, which is what allowed the pneumonia to kill her. But I just find it poetic justice that the car has cancer. It just, there's something about that that just seems relevant, pertinent. I don't know. I don't want to say right because it's not. It's not, because fuck cancer. It's evil. It is pure evil. But like I said, it's just poetic. It really is. So anyway, that has an electrical demon. It has a brand new alternator in it. I mean, brand new alternator in it, 140 amp alternator actually. It has brand new battery, which is, like I said, brand new battery. By the way, check out Mikey's Facebook blog. Give him all the subscriptions you can. Try to build his sub list up. But anyway, brand new battery, brand new alternator. You saw when I had the hood open, all of the 4-gauge red wires, those are all new grounds. Because, you know, confusion. And just burn it to the ground like our good buddy Derek always says. Yeah, so that's literally the only reason that car's sitting there, is because every piece of the electrical system is new, and it still discharges the battery when you're driving it. And I have no idea why. This, Mikey, you know, Mikey, our good friend Mikey. We love Mikey. Mikey's a brother. He's not a friend, he's a brother. This is probably next to the Ford, because this can be fixed easier than the Ford can be fixed. So this is the second worst of all of these. Oh yeah, I started it last week, and I know I shouldn't do that. But if you are under a rock or just haven't seen for whatever reason, I don't know how easy this is going to be to see. You see that big old hole right there? That's not supposed to be there, you know, EJ problems. So, yeah. This is dead. It's also got a broken rod in there, which is how that happened, you know. Again, EJ problems, that's how that happens. Dead. Never lived a moment that I owed it. Parts for that. Corey. Oh, Corey. 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 Anyway, it sounded a little bit too much like my dad there. That was kind of weird and disturbing. So, anyway, yeah. I got my dad's Dodge truck. That's it. I don't know how the fuck you're supposed to have a car channel when you got one vehicle and you got to use it for work, so it has to remain stock. I'll put an aftermarket stereo in it. It's already done. Need to put the cage on it, but it's already done because I'm not driving 2 hours without Bluetooth. That's just no. No. Nope. Nope. But so, let's get back to this. So I gave you the walk around the land to give you the lay of the land. This was all my grandparents. From ridge to ridge. When they died, my Uncle Chuck got from that line to that ridge. My dad got from that line to that ridge. So last year, you know, my dad died last June, 5th of June. And honestly, it's fucked up to say, but I'm kind of glad he did, because this would have destroyed him. This would have killed him if he was still alive when this happened. It would have put him in his grave. Because his whole life was in this building. So many memories. So many memories. The only new car he ever owned his whole life was a 1972 Chevy El Camino. I've heard this story a million times. So, my fucking building, I'll come in here if I want to. So, when I was a kid, there was a wall right here. You can still see the stud. See the stud. There's a wall right here. And all of that, which is ironic because if this fire wouldn't have happened, That part would have gotten torn out. Everything else would have stayed. But Subaru wheels. Need some? I do. Not those. Anyway. I let a friend come in and pick some scrap, and he made a bigger mess than what was here to begin with. Anybody need a Goodyear air compressor? I got you right there. Hook you right up. Give you a deal. Anyway, so the old man's Elky. So that was the only new car he ever owned his whole life. When I was cleaning this building out, like I said, when you come in the door there was a wall right there. And then if you look right where that hole is in the wall, there was a beam that ran the whole length of the building. The building's 90 feet long and it's 30 feet wide. Now, I don't know about you, but I ain't buying 30-foot long floor joists, not when I can buy 16-foot long ones. Poke them in the holes or in a beam up the middle. There you go. These are actually one piece. I'm lying to you, they're not. Look, they're sistered. But anyway, so this was broken up into 3 rooms. My contention, obviously, most of you know, we were going to take that part of the second floor out and put a lift there, because when I tell you the floor is thick enough, was thick enough, and I'm still using this concrete pad, although the building itself is ruined, the blocks are junk. They have 0 tensile strength left. You can't use that. That kind of hurt. Anyway. But you can't really see it, but it's a 10-inch thick concrete floor. 10 inches thick. You put a dump truck on that. Subaru wheel. That reminds me, I gotta go get the piece of wheel from Lilu for Corey. My good cast iron skillet. Anyway, so there was a shelf that ran pretty much right here with the chimney. There was a doorway right here, and there was a shelf that ran this way, that the shelves were on this side, and then this side just had paneling nailed to the back of the shelf to make another room. That was basically the demising wall. So I took that shelf and I spun it around and I put it up against this wall. By the way, anybody that wants to really try, there's an Army tube tester. Anyway, where was I? Brand new DeWalt turbo heater. Yeah, anyway, so I had that shelf right here. You can see the legs from it. And I'm kind of curious as to what all's under here. But anyway, on this corner, halfway up the shelf, was all the paperwork for that El Camino. I found it while I was cleaning from the last time this building was vandalized. And I put it there. Right there. So, I'm glad I took pictures of the sign. Handlebars to my bicycle. The frame's in there. At least it was. I don't know if they took it. They were fucking idiots. But up in that corner is something of absolute value that I have to get up and get. This is where the cars were. And if I had to guess, that's where the fire started. Actually, probably right here. But in here, right beside Lilu, who was sitting right here, sure, right beside Lilu that was sitting right here, actually between Dark Helmet, the Cabrio that was right here, and the arcade game, which was right there. Between them was the Bachhaus Greenhouse sign. It was laying out there, out in the grass. It was laying in the fucking grass. And we brought it inside. Wait for it! So nothing would happen to it. Are you kidding me? That was the last piece, very last piece of my childhood, because this was my dad's greenhouse. That was his warehouse / office. The front room that had the drywall and all that stuff, there was a desk in there, that was his office, although we fucked off in there more than anything else. Right inside this big opening was a giant furnace. This was a soil bin in this little room right here where I said I'm pretty sure the fire started. And the reason I'm pretty sure that's where the fire started is the building was corrugated fiberglass. And I'm pretty sure, since that was the only point of entry, it either started there or it started there. It might have started there because there was pieces broke out already, and that's why we had the junk pile there, the pile of scrap metal. But anyway, someone stole my quad out of here, my 1990 Suzuki LT250S Quad Sport. They stole it out of here. My old fishing chair from when I was a little kid, kind of missing a little bit of canvas. That happens in thousands of degrees. Anyway. We framed a wall. This was the end of the building right here. We framed a wall right here. Plywooded it, boarded it, all of the things. Actually, right here. Right where the gutter ends. There's a corner. But we framed a wall, rebarred a bottom plate into the floor, studded it, plywooded it, boarded every fucking window, put a brand new steel door on that doorway. I'll get it. That doorway. Put a brand new steel door on that. So, there's only... I think it's gonna rain. So there's only two ways that some piece of shit came in here. They either came in through that door, which would not have granted them access to this area. It would have given them the second floor only. Which would mean that the fire would have started up there. I don't buy that. I don't buy that because these were in that corner. These church pews were in that corner. And we can talk about divinity all we want. Those are 150-year-old pieces of fucking wood with varnish on them. They should have went up like... So I don't buy that. Those were upstairs. This roll of carpet was upstairs. There was a lot of scorching right here, but there was a lot of car parts, plastic, burnable things right in that corner. A lot of shit like that. There was cans of paint in there. There was actually half gallons of paint. There was all kinds of shit. Lots of combustibles. There was all stacks of wheels. There was an aluminum Kirky racing seat sitting right there. But anyway. So, we digress. So about a decade ago, after this building was broke into the first time, which is when my Olds was smashed to pieces, I'm not gonna put a name on anything, but the person that did it lived pretty close. Pretty close. Because that's what kids do in this town at night. They got nothing to do. They fuck people's shit up. Anyway. This is the piece of Lilu I gotta get for Corey. Buried in belts from tires. But anyway, So after they broke in, and just completely trashed the place. I mean, just completely trashed the place. Cutlass oil pan. Smashed my high school car to pieces, which is why it was in the state that it was in the other videos that you've seen and all the pictures that you've seen. It was actually the only car in here, and it was sitting right there. After they did that, my sister got a mile-long list of different stipulations that this building had to adhere to be part of the policy. That stipulation was met. That stipulation was met to the extent that the electrical was removed from this building so that there was no chance of that happening. So, the insurance company says that this building is expressly no longer part of that policy, but the policy was never rewritten, no one ever signed anything, and the rest of the policy is still intact. So the way that property insurance law works is if your insurance provider deems that part of your property no longer falls under the predicate of your policy, like that, if they deem that to be fact, if you've ever had a dome greenhouse, you know what this is. Anyway, if the insurance company deems that to be the course of action they want to take, a certain piece of property no longer falls into your policy's guidelines, then one of two things happens. Either every policyholder has to sign a document that states that they accept that term as part of the new policy, and the policy has to be rewritten without that piece of property. Either that has to happen, or because the insurance company does not want to insure that part and everybody is not signing saying that part is no longer insured, then none of it is insured anymore. But, you know, they've still been taking premiums for 10 years. And we have a copy of every document. You know, there's no exemption for this building in any of those documents that they provided us. So that should be $50,000. They say nothing. Now, we started telling the story of how the property got broken up. And how the policy is grandfathered. Well, the property got broken up this way when my grandparents died. This was just the way that we wanted to divvy it out. My dad couldn't do the greenhouse anymore. He wasn't physically able to. His health was starting to decline. His mobility was definitely declining. So I inherited the mess because that was post-vandalism. I inherited this. That house had already been sold. The little house had been sold to a rental tenant, and it's now changed hands and is owned by somebody else. I got this. My sister got the house and the headache, all the fields. I'm still here all the time. That's all right. That's why we still have it. That's what we were taught to do when we were kids. It doesn't matter whose name is on the deed. It's everybody's home. Which means that everybody is responsible to take care of it. So, yeah, digressing there. Sorry, rabbit hole. That little 250, I'm telling you. That thing cracks me up. Anyway, so basically the insurance company is treating me like a rental tenant. Most of my stuff that was in that building has been in there since I was like 10 years old. With the exception of things like shelves and Christmas tree and shit like that from my apartment. But like, you know, bicycles, stereos, things like that. That's been my spot since I was a little kid. I lost between turbo heater, the generator, all that shit. I lost roughly, oh, by the way, cars were automatically exempted. That is actually spelled out in the policy. There ain't shit we can do about it. But I lost, in other non-car related things, I lost probably $17,000, $18,000 worth of just property. And that's not counting things like autographed pictures of Roberto Clemente, all kinds of sports memorabilia. There was a ton of shit upstairs that I have no documentary evidence that it was up there, so it doesn't matter. I do have documentary evidence of everything that was down there, and what I turned in was about $17,000 to $18,000 worth. What I lost was actually probably closer to $25,000 or $30,000 worth. And the policy should have covered up to $125,000 worth of contents. Now, because I do not have this building anymore, I have 2 storage units in Pittsburgh. They run roughly $400 a month. The policy also accommodated, as a general building, as a common building on the farm, the policy allotted $25,000 for loss of use. So, if you do the math on that, if that was the total payout, that's $175,000. Like I said, the policy is older than we are. My grandparents started the policy. So the policy is roughly 60, 65 years old. They bought the property in the late 50s. Love it. They bought the property in the late 50s, so the policy is roughly 60 to 70 years old. Actually should be, yeah, between 60 and 70 years old. They paid out once. Someone left the road and almost hit the sign that was out here that we put inside, that burned to the ground, blah, 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 blah. They almost hit the sign. You'll love this. This is the shit. This is the shit that we deal with. This is a drunk driver on blood thinners. This was 25 years ago, 30 years ago. I was young. I think I had just moved to Pittsburgh. So, there was the sign. See where the post is sticking up out of the ground over there by the construction site? Right about there. Yeah, anyway. Right there. Perfect, yes. Anyway, so, right on the other side of the roadside. So the guy left the road there, had traveled through the garden and through the yard, up, clipped a couple of these smaller bushes right here, clipped a couple of those, and crashed into the back of the house. Caught the back of the house on fire. Well, my uncle, obviously was alive. He was a master craftsman. Just an absolutely master craftsman. There was nothing that the man could not do with wood or metal. Nothing. It's the mule, but working, because the mule's right there. Anyway, yeah, so he did all the repairs. I think the insurance company paid out $8,000 on that. Something like that. Changed the back windows. There was these giant floor-to-ceiling twin plate glass windows on the back garden porch, which is just basically a closed-in porch. Carpeted, drywalled, fans, lights, nice, really nice. But that was all torn out. It was redone. The outside was reskinned, and double hung vinyl windows were put in. Like I said, they paid about $8,000 on that. I fought tooth and nail to get $500 for 2 Hewlett-Packard servers that were actually sitting in that corner of the porch, exactly at the point of impact. Like, to the point where I had to threaten to itemize the actual hardware in the towers. before they would cut me a check for $500. $500 for a server, for a $1,200 server. $500. There was 2 of them. Anyway, so they paid out like $8,000 for that. That was including mine. See the porch? Anyway, so yeah, they paid out about $8,000 there. Kitchen flue caught on fire. They paid out for that. I want to say that was about $12,000. So in 60 years, they've paid out roughly $20,000 total across that entire 60 years. And they've been collecting premiums nonstop. And they're begrudging me $62,000 for my whole childhood. 6 of my cars, which we're not going to count the cars as part of the check, but come on, let's be fucking real, all right? 6 of my cars, 3 of mine and 3 of Corey's. Corey's fucking 3 BMWs. Basically his reason for living, because he's been about as bummed as I have since that's happened. My olds, the car that I took my damn driving test in the first time. I always tell people that I took my driving test in a 1965 Lincoln Continental Mark III town car. That's true. It's true. First time I took it in the olds. Missed a turn, was driving, cop told me I could speed up a little bit, the 4-barrel came open. It didn't work. It didn't work out. It was fun, but it didn't work out. Second time I took it in the Lincoln, and I passed it, and the Lincoln was a 460 4-barrel. But anyway. Yeah, so $62,000 for the building and all the content. That's all I'm asking. The roof trusses are $44,000. I mean, you're not going to tell me that's not a fucking total loss. The roof trusses, that's not installed. That's the roof trusses laying right here, right behind me, in a pile. $44,000. You saw what the block does. There's no way that's safe. There's no way what's still standing is safe. It's not safe that it's still standing. I got no money to knock it down. So what I have here is I have my broken baby sitting in the ashes. Rotting away. Kind of poetic. Kind of fucking poetic. Anyway, so that's what's been happening. I started filming clutch master cylinder replacement for a friend's DC-5. She made me an offer to fix another one of her cars. And if I did that, she would give me the DC-5. I think we're going to do that, because selling my DC-5 was the worst mistake I've made in a while when it comes to cars. I mean, other than getting rid of bugs, that car's going to be badass. The body kit is now over in the garage. So, you know, if someone wants to come fucking steal it, that's where it's at. I'm chuck it in the fuck it bucket and carry on, I guess. I've come to the conclusion I have an affinity for blue cars. I've come to that conclusion. So anyway, 2005 DC-5, like my 06, except Type S 6-speed, 5-speed. I don't care. It's got 3 pedals. Woo! Anyway, so that's the thing. And this has just been one big rambling, and I'm not even editing in it. Have at it.